Welcome back to Getting Some Head podcast. I'm Michael fucking Rainey here with my buddy Nick Kupsey. Nick, how the heck are you, brother?
Mike, man, it's fantastic to see you. Although,
likewise,
it's bittersweet.
Well,
like fuck you for leaving.
I know. I'm so sorry, Nick. No, I hate to do this to you, man.
It's just that you get used to seeing people in your life, and you take for granted that they're always going to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that is selfish. So I admit that, but it's. Yeah, like fuck you for leaving. Like fuck Texas. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to piss Texans off.
I'll send them and I'll stay. How about that?
Send everybody over. I went to Dallas and Houston once, and I was like, this ain't for me. It wasn't like, you ever go somewhere, you land in a city. I used to do corporate. It's called applied storytelling. So I would go to offsites for companies, and they would pick like 10 people. And for 3 days, I would teach them how to write and tell a story. And I did one for a company in 2018. And I'll never forget this because it was in Houston. And I got to fucking Houston, Mike. I've never felt more out of place in a fucking city. I never felt more homesick. I don't know what it was. And I was like, I'm never, ever coming back to this fucking state again. It was just done. I was like, I'm not a Texan. And that's no disrespect to people from Texas. It's a great state. But for me, and I was like, no. And probably because I was like really smoking a lot of pot then. So I think that part of it was I didn't have any marijuana.
Okay.
I think if I had like a gummy or like some shit like that, I probably would have been straight. But there was like nowhere. We were staying in this big hotel. There was nowhere to go. And like, I just didn't know anybody. And like, I wasn't going to hang out with the people from the company because they were all like straight laced and like, you know, buttoned up and corporate. And I didn't really connect with them in that way. Like, hey, let's go get a beer. Like, they were not my people. So I just, like, would get done and just, like, find a dive and just get hammered and, like, Uber back. And it was just a fucking nightmare. So until I come visit you guys in the Austin environs, I will not go back for any other reason.
All right, I understood, brother. Nick, you have had, like, one of the most interesting lives. And it's, like, to get to a point where, when did you do that? Like, teach? I
did that probably, 2017 through about the pandemic.
Your trajectory is nuts, and I think you were somebody who is really an anomaly because there was when we first became friends,
2009.
You were a mailman.
Yeah.
And did you think at that time that you were going to do that for the rest of your life?
First and foremost, I fucking hated being a mailman. So like I didn't absolutely hate the walking aspect of it. That didn't bother me. It was our management. It was just a nightmare. It's just not an easy job mentally or first of all, you have to understand if you're out there for 8 hours by yourself. So like if you get in a fight with like your girlfriend or your partner, right? You have no one to bounce any of this shit off of. And it just goes internally like pong. So it was such a nightmare from an emotional perspective because I'm insane and I am an emotional person. So I thought that was going to be like that was it. Like this was going to be my life. And everyone was telling me, you know, you don't want to quit that job. It's a stable job. It's this, that, and the other. So you kind of gets like ingrained in you. You're like, well, I could never leave. I can never. And few people do or did at the time. And it wasn't until I got divorced and I had like the worst fucking day you can have as a mailman. It's raining today, right? But imagine how it rained about an hour ago, like that torrential downpour. I'll never forget this. It was January of 2017. I had been separated from my ex-wife for about 8 months, 7 or 8 months. And I just was unhappy with my life and doing that job. Like while you're divorced, fucking worse, dude. Because like, especially if like she moved on very quickly. You know, and so it was a lot of walking down the street just being fucking angry all the time. And I'll never forget it. I had a hole in my truck and all this water was just leaking in all fucking day. And it was just a torrential sideways rain like Forrest Gump walking through fucking Vietnam, right? And I came home. I was so wet, like everything. Like you can have like weather, like, you know, like Gore-Tex and that stuff, right? And yeah, it's great if you're out there for like an hour or 2 hours, but when you're out there in a sustained environment, nothing can stop the rain. So I came home and I opened the fucking mailbox, right? And there's my letter of decree for my divorce. And I was like, fuck this. I am fucking done. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I was like, I'm quitting. I'm not doing this. I'm not fucking doing this anymore. I'm going to end up fucking blowing my brains out if I do this for like any more in my life. Like, that's it. So as luck would have it, dude, this is why I believe in fucking fate, right? I was getting back into shape after, because, you know, you want to look good. The apps, dude, when you're on the apps and you start seeing like these women and it's like, you're like, oh fuck, like I gotta like do something here. I gotta clean myself up because I was out of shape. I was just like miserable. And like everything about like the only thing that was like really out of shape, like if I'm being fucking honest, was my stomach. Like everything else was from walking and being a mailman was pretty much okay.
Booze and food?
Oh God, probably more food than booze. Mm-hmm. And because I don't want to fucking disparage my ex-wife, but she was very particular about what we would eat. And
ooh, you went on a cookie bender, didn't you?
I went on a fucking McDonald's bender, dude. Like I would get done work. I remember this one I'll tell you the saddest I was. It was 5 o'clock on a fucking Saturday. I had nowhere to, like all my friends were in the same boat, but I was the first to pull the trigger and get divorced, right? It's a Saturday night.
What age was this again, Nick?
I was 39.
All right.
So I'm 39, right? And I'm fucking sitting there at a Boston market in Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania.
I know that one.
You know it, and Jamie knows it. And it's me and all these other fucking sad middle-aged dudes like eating, and I'm like, this is my life, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the next day I went and looked at a 1-bedroom condo in Havertown. And I remember looking when we opened the door and I was like, this is where I'll die. Like, I will fucking die here, either by my own hand or just heart attack, right? So this is low. But that's how I like would get through that shit. Wasn't really pot, wasn't really alcohol. It was really food. Like, I was just like, oh, fuck it. I'm not doing shit tonight. Let's order Domino's. And, to get back to when I quit, it was February 4th, 2017. It was the Super Bowl. And I had been having problems with my left knee. I've been ignoring them because I'm Irish Catholic. So I was like, fuck it, you know. Either fix itself or I'll die. Like, you know how that goes. So, and I was playing basketball. We had this like court. I moved in with my brother and I was living in his fucking basement, right? And, which wasn't bad. I liked living with my brother, but the whole idea of like living in his basement, you know, because I'd been engaged once before, that didn't work out. And then I got married and then engaged and married again. So that was K Jewelers 2, Nick Zero. And all the money I fucking spent on engagement rings, Mike, Jesus fucking Christ. Someone said to me, I brought that up during that period. I was like, I spent a lot of money on engagement rings. They were like, money isn't everything. I was like, fucking money is everything when you're laying in your brother's fucking basement. Like, fuck you. So I hurt my knee. And I was like, okay. And I called out of work and went to the doctor. I was like, hey, you tore some ligaments and there's a tear in your meniscus and this, and you're going to be out for 8 weeks. So I was like, all right, well, okay. So I put my paperwork in at work and this, that, and the other. And then while I was there, I started picking up like freelance, like writing jobs, like small shit, which I'll tell you one of them when we get to it because it's so fucking embarrassing, but I'm also so proud of it. All right, I'll tell you. There was a guy that I met through my brother's neighborhood, through his neighbor. He is like an evangelical Christian, like to the point where he's like gone to Africa and like, this is his thing. And he had this like, do you know, like when in the mail you get those like coupon books?
Yeah.
So he owned one and he wanted to like add some like things to it. And he's like, hey, like we have this thing where like we fake interview people's pets. So I was writing fake fucking interviews for people's pets, like rabbits, parrots, cats. Like, this is what I did. So
are there like sad divorced rabbit interviews out there?
Jesus Christ, Mike. I don't know if there's any copies extant, but if there are, I need to find it. So
I think it's very cool.
I liked it. It's funny because I kind of like it, but I laugh back. I look back now. Like, you have to start somewhere. So like, you got to get your foot in the door somewhere. And I was never like below work and doing anything. So I started doing that. And then I started like getting some like really small jobs. And then I was like, like I had saved up. The one good thing about my divorce and the one good thing about my life is that I was in debt once when I was younger, and I was like, I'm never doing that again. And I went through a little bit when my dad died. Like, we had all this fucking debt. I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm never owing anyone anything again. So I lived a very Spartan lifestyle. So I had a little bit of money saved. And I said to myself, I'm like, I can either, I'm 39, I turned 40 December 8th. I go, I can either take a gamble on myself now, or that time it's gone. It's never going to happen. That's why I'm excited for you guys to move to Texas, because you have to take these risks. You have to fucking go, you know? And I was like, if I don't do this now, like, it's never going to happen. So I picked up enough money where I could, like, you know, live, like, enough, like, just short-term jobs and this, that, and the other. And I was like, I'm going to write a book. And I was like, I'm going to quit my fucking job. And you remember my friend Constantine that got murdered. Well, April 4th was the day he got murdered. And that was the last day I was an employee of the Postal Service. Wow. And I didn't even plan it that way. Yeah. I had filled out all my paperwork, and I was like, and he had written something really nice in my fucking yearbook too. He's like, you're going to be the only one who says who's going to do great. He said something. I don't remember the quote, but like, you're going to do everything you want to do with your life. And that's when the drugs and the drinking and the fornicating kick in. Because now that I don't have a full-time job and I'm untethered to the world, like anything, I went out every fucking night.
With a clear objective, or just to have fun?
All right, I didn't go out every night. I should be a little hyperbolic. I went out a lot. And the objective was never like, let me get laid, or it was never that. It was, hey, let me go see Chris Scamuffa, our shared friend. Let me go see this friend. Let me go see my brother. Let me go see this person. Hey, you know what? I want to go to the fucking art museum. I'm going to go to the art museum. And then I was on the apps and I was meeting these girls. And that was, to me, like, fucking, it was great, you know, for the time. And I just enjoyed myself. And I was starting to enjoy my life again. And I couldn't believe that I had ingrained in my head that you can't quit your job. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like,
I get it.
Like, what do you mean I can't quit I can quit my job. It might be difficult. You know, I might do without. Like, I wasn't doing a lot of fancy shit. I didn't go on any vacations. Well, not a big vacation guy anyway. But like, I wasn't buying myself clothes. I wasn't buying shit, but like, I had enough to feed and pay my rent. And I was like, well, isn't that like kind of all you know, sometimes all you really need are the basics, right? And I was so fucking thankful to be out. I mean, my knee's still fucked up. And
you never got anything fixed?
Yeah, I got it fixed, but it's still not, you know, like
once something's fucked, it's kind of fucked.
It's fucked. Like it's, you know, if I sit at work and I like, for some reason I'm an intense guy, which sucks. I wish I wasn't, but I'll like press my legs against the ground. And if I do that all day, then I'm a little hobbled. And I'm like, gee, like, it fucking sucks when you get older. And also from walking, I was a mailman for 15 years.
Did you ever think about working in a swing?
I would if I could, man. But no, I'm glad that I quit that fucking, but it took that terrible day to push me over the edge. And I was like, fuck this, man. This sucks. Like, you know?
There's one thing that you mentioned that I think is very important in regards to anybody that might be thinking about this is you got the wheels in motion while you were still at your gig. And it seems like you made a decision like, I'm at least going to do this because I like doing this shit. And
I always wanted to be a writer, and I did well with writing in school, in starting in elementary school and all throughout. And then my mom died 3 days before Christmas when I was a kid, when I was 16. And then my dad fucking collapsed. The whole thing turns into Fast Car by Tracy Chapman, and I don't want to make anybody cry. But like, so like my life kind of got like interrupted, and I didn't make the best decisions either. And it led me to this. And I'm like, all right, well, you can either just accept this, because so many people just accept this is what my life is. Yeah. And I couldn't do that. And I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking doing that. And I had some wheels in motion, I had enough to like survive for like a year where I would like really need to like go out and get like a full-time job, like a hardcore full-time job. So I had a little bit of savings, you know, because I was going to buy a 1-bedroom fucking divorce. You got to see this, Mike. If we're ever together in that neighborhood, I will take you to this place and you'll go, yeah, I get it. I get why you would. My brains would have been splattered on the back of the wall within.
Dude, there's you know? Sometimes like when you walk into a place, and when you mentioned that, I instantly thought of the last place where I ended up on my last bender. It was a motel room at this fucking. It used to be the Executive Inn on Baltimore Pike.
I know exactly where it is. Yeah.
And I just had drugs. Everybody else went to bed. It was like 7 a.m. And I checked into this place just because I just wanted to do drugs by myself.
Yeah.
And as soon as I checked in there, one of my first thoughts was, I'm going to die here.
Yeah. You know it. You know it. You know your body will fucking tell you that something like that this is bad. And I remember physically feeling that, and like the realtor standing there like, what do you think? And I'm just like in my fucking, you know, I was like, no, like this is not this can't. I'd rather live in my brother's basement than do this. And I'd rather struggle and go without than do this, because this is a dead end. Like, this is like what I you know, maybe I meet a woman, maybe, like, none of this is going to work out for me. None of this leads to happiness. So I'm not doing it. And it was also like this, like, abandoning of like being part of the capitalist structure. Like, I was never wanted to be part of it. I never gave a shit about cars, houses. None of that was like anything I cared about, nor was I impressed by. So like occasionally if I see a Jeep, because I had a Jeep, I'm like, it was used monster. I loved it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But like, it's not like material shit just doesn't like do it for me. Like, it just doesn't. Like, tell me the last cheeseburger you ate. Like, that's the shit I care about. Like, did you smoke a cigarette? Like that, like those are, as odd as that sounds, that's the stuff that I was like always more motivated by. But I knew if I fucking moved in there, Mike, I'm dead within a year.
I get it.
And I'm either dead by my own hand or I'm dead from not taking care of myself, because I was, you know, wasn't eating well and I didn't care about it either. So, you know, and I can cook. I worked in the restaurant business in high school and college, and I started as a dishwasher, prep cook, and then a line cook. So I know how to cook food. And even the food I was cooking was still somehow awful. You know, sodium, all this, that, and the other. And I was like, fuck it. Like, you know, who cares? Like, who fucking cares? So if I don't take that leap, I don't think I live past like 45 at max. Like, and that's probably health reasons too. And I just saw a dead future, and I was like, all right, well, you can either like make a go of it, or you can, you know, try to be a writer, or you can just fucking deliver paper all day. Like, what are you doing with your life? You know, and that's not disparaging to anybody who works there. You know, I still have friends there and family even, but for me, it was the deadest of dead ends that you could reach. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Not doing it.
God damn, dude. Is there one thing that, like, when you, all right, so when you got divorced and then you're having this realization, like, while you're working, that I have to do something different, do you think there was like one thing which was the major contributing factor, or do you think it was the culmination of all these separate things happening in your life?
Separate. And I think that they all culminated in that day in January. And I was like, what am I, like, I was just in such disbelief where you said, when you're in this fucking and if you haven't been in the executive, I don't even know what's there anymore.
I think it's maybe a Petco or something.
Yeah. Like, they put something there.
Yeah.
Cause I had been there before, you know, in the high school and college and after, so I know the executive. It's this like realization, like, this is where I'm at. Like, there's no pretense, there's no fantasy around it. Like, this is the reality of my situation, is that I'm here and this is what's happening, and if I don't deal with it, it'll continue. And that was it. That was the kind of, like, when you've been rained on all fucking day and you can't escape it because there's holes in your truck. It's like fucking, you know, you get the concept of water torture. Like, it really starts to make sense. You know, that's why I was like against waterboarding. Like, people were like, you're really passionate about waterboarding. And I'm like, you have no idea what it's like. No fucking idea. Because they had these in the mail trucks. They had these, like, I don't want to call them gutters, but like they have like these, like, I don't know, they're like, and it's not only is the water coming in, it's getting all over the mail, but it's running in and it's pouring on me. Dude. And so there's no respite. And I was like, this is it. Like,
do you think they designed it that way to keep you out of the fucking truck?
No, I think that was just an unhappy, you know, an accident, that the hole was in the roof, and I didn't see it until it was late.
Gotcha.
And like, we didn't have, our trucks were always breaking down and shit, so there wasn't any spares. I was stuck with it. So, and that was my day, and that was it. I think I worked a couple more days after that, and then the Super Bowl came, and I was outside shooting hoops, fucking around. And I was like, all right, I got to start like taking care of myself. I have to do something. Right. And I went up, and I'm a terrible basketball player, by the way. Let's not get it twisted like I'm some fucking Rasheed Wallace. I'm bad. And I like went up to do a layup, and it was like, and I was like, oh, fuck. And I just like hobbled back and put some ice on it. And I was like, all right, I'll go to the doctor. And went to the doctor. Finally, he's like, hey, man, you've been walking on this for a while. It's fucked up. And I was like, got the MRIs. He's showing me. I'm like, oh. And it wasn't uncommon in that field to be fucked up, because people get hip replacements. Like a lot of these guys, if I go to like breakfast with my old coworkers or something, every single one of them's hobbling in. And that was another contributing factor, is that everyone I had worked with who had retired was in constant pain. And I was like, I don't want to be in my 60s hobbling to go have breakfast with people that I only saw literally 2 hours, maybe an hour a day. So they're, God, Mike, that was awful. Fuck. Hated that. Like, you ever look back at your your time when you were like actively addicted and like just go, Jesus, fuck, like it feels like a nightmare.
Yeah, it's almost incomprehensible,
right?
There's times where like if somebody reaches out to me, like today, somebody was asking me about help with stopping drinking because they associate it with everything fun.
Yeah,
and I get it, and it's like as I'm like writing what worked for me, I'm thinking back to that, and it's almost it feels like a different lifetime where that was a struggle, whereas now it's just like I'm far enough away from it is to where it just seems so foreign.
Yeah.
Whereas like back then, I just remember thinking like when I stopped drinking, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to have fun again.
Yeah.
And the reality is just like, I'll never have that kind of fun again, because even standing in a garage and drinking with my buddies could conceivably be the greatest night ever. It feels fucking awesome for like 6 hours. Then the next day, as you get older, you're just like, oh, I got to go to work. Yeah. But I want to lay in bed for the next fucking 24 hours. Yeah. And it just gets worse and worse. So I almost can't. It seems so far away, but yet I can recall very vivid details of each of these moments, which make it easier, which reinforce the decision that I made.
Because it's once you get out of it. I know for me with the post office, it was like, and I tell Jamie all the time, like I wish I stayed in I was a restaurant business person. And I always will say that about myself. Above the biggest mistake I actually made was not going to culinary school. That's the only regret I have in my life. And I was very tailor-made for that lifestyle. And I enjoyed it. And at the time, I enjoyed making out with waitresses. God bless all of you. You're fucking all baby angel saints. You're perfect. So that was always like a little bit of a regret. And by the time I was 40, I was too old to be of any use in the restaurant, at least on the line. My dream is to be an airport bartender because her. That is like, and when we went to New Orleans, right? I went to New Orleans with my girlfriend, and I like having airport beer. That's when I really like.
Oh man, that's one of the best beers you can have.
It's a great beer, and I'm kind of nervous when I fly to begin with, so it takes the edge off. And it was like, I don't know, 8 a.m. and we have breakfast, and I got a fucking cold beer, and I was never a beer snob. I'll drink any beer you put in front of me, and I think this particular one was like an IPA. I was like, that'll wake me up, and that's like. But I like, and I'm like looking at the bartender, and I'm like watching him. I was like, this guy probably thinks I'm gonna fuck him, right? And I was like, I would trade places, even though I'm at where I want to be. There's still. Like, you used to have your Airstream trailer of like retire. Like,
yeah.
My retirement dream is I quit, get a new job, and I work like at an airport or like a bar, and I bartend, and I'm happy as a clam. And preferable, it would be nice if bars still let you smoke, because I would take up smoking again like that. Mm-hmm. Like, fucking, that's the one vice that I have problems with. Like, because even to this day, I haven't been a full-time smoker in 6 years, but if you put a cigarette in front of me, I will sweat. It's like, I love it. Like, I'll flat out say it. I fucking love smoking cigarettes. I like cigarettes and coffee. It's my favorite thing in the world. Like, I'm going to go to Europe next year, and one of the reasons that I'm excited is because they're cool with smoking.
Yeah.
And I told Amanda ahead of time, look, I'm smoking. You're not stopping me. Then it's not going to be a fight because this is my dream and you're going to let me fucking have it. Right? Like I don't cheat on you. I'm not out doing dumb shit. You know, usually I'm at home playing Zelda. Like, you know what I'm doing. Like, she's in AC tonight, and she's like, what are you doing? I was like, what do you fucking think I'm doing? You're not here. I ordered a cheesesteak, a Diet Coke, Old Bay fries, and I'm playing fucking Tears of the Kingdom on my Nintendo Switch. You're with your girlfriends. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, what do you think about cheating?
Yeah, you almost want me to tell you I'm cheating on you.
Yeah, do you want me to cheat? I wouldn't even know what to fucking do, Mike. I wouldn't even know how to talk. Like, what am I going to say to these girls? Hi, I'm Nick. I would like to be home in my blanket. You know, like, look, like I'm 47. Like, you know, I got a buddy that's like, he's our age and he's single and he's like, dude, like, I would talk to these girls. I'm like, no. I'm like, I'm not talking to girls, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if it organically comes into the conversation, yeah, I'll be pleasant, and, you know, this, that, and the other, but actively seeking out women? Are you fucking nuts?
Oh, dude. Yeah, once you find a good blanket, too, man.
Yeah, that's it, man. I got my blanket. We have a great, I will say this, Mike. We got a great fucking couch. It is a top-notch couch. I got my spot on it. And, like, because I was married to an Italian woman, and Italians hate comfortable couches.
Really?
I swear to Christ. I swear to God. I'm probably going to get killed for this. I don't care. But, like, every Italian I've ever met never had a comfortable couch.
The first thing that comes to mind is they all have plastic cover couches.
It's either plastic
and it's just
or it's like,
ornamental.
Or it's a couch that, like, is not big enough where you could lay on it. And, like, that was a problem in my marriage because I'm a couch dude. And, like, I got my couch and, like, I'm on the L. And, like, there's my TV. And, like, my dog's right here. And my girl's on the other side, and she falls asleep, and I watch weird shit on YouTube. It's like fucking perfect. Like why am I going to jeopardize what I have for what? For fucking to bust a nut? I can go jerk off.
Nick, I'm with you 100%.
Right?
I mean, for a lot of reasons, but it's like, one, my wife gives me anything I want.
Yeah.
Two, I also have a very good blanket.
Yeah.
Three, there's nothing more that I enjoy than just sitting and doing nothing at a certain point in the day. Because it's just like I'm consumed by just, you know, communication and task all day. And then when it's time to shut it down, I just want to read about sports and just fucking sit under a blanket. Dude, I have a couple questions that I need to ask you. One is, what is the best and what is the worst financial advice you've ever received?
Oh, this is great.
I want to hear it.
This is fucking great. Chris Gamuffa and Bitcoin.
Oh, no.
He told me, he goes, I'll never forget, it was like early 2017. And I should tell you this. My dad was going to buy stock in Chrysler when it was like pennies. I don't know what happened in the 80s. Chrysler fell. And he was going to buy a shit ton of it. He's like, I had the money. I was going to buy all this stock. He's like, because I knew the government wouldn't let an automotive company fail. And he didn't. And it rebounded. And like, he would have made like fucking millions. So the best advice that I was given that didn't take was Chris told me, he goes, hey, Bitcoin's at $500. You should buy it. He's like, you should buy like 4 or 5 coins and hold on to it. He's like, I think it's going to the moon. And I go, no fucking way. And I was too reasoned, like, no, not doing it. It's fucking stupid. I'm going to be mad that I pissed my money away, right? We go to a bachelor party a couple weeks later or a couple months later, and Bitcoin's at $1,000. And then it just keeps growing and growing and fucking growing and growing and growing. And I'm like, motherfucker.
Dude. I was not that early. I didn't have this realization, but I think it was when the pandemic first started and the government was just throwing money at everybody. I started buying Bitcoin with all the money they were giving out. I was just buying Bitcoin, and I forget what it was back then. But then there reached a certain point once things started to go back to normal a little bit. I was like, I don't know. I kind of want the cash right now.
Yeah, and
I took it out and. Yeah, just idiocy. And I remember back in, I think it was 2012. Like you can see them on YouTube now still. Just videos. One in particular of this black guy just sitting in front of his computer begging people to just buy 1 Bitcoin. And it was whatever the fuck it was. It was like probably dollars. He's like, just buy 1. Just buy 1 and fucking forget about it. And
you know what I did because of that?
I bought
What'd you buy?
Steel Reserve 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I bought recently when I got I bought a bunch of AMC stock on Robinhood, right? And AMC, Rivian, which is the American electric car maker, and another one, Polestar from Volvo. And I was like, I'm buying, like, they're like, I think Polestar was like $1, and like AMC was like $3. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna spend this money on something else, so I might as well like teach myself how to like make money, right? Worst advice ever given that I was given about money was investing in action figures. With the idea was that these would appreciate to a certain level. And I had owned them. I had always bought carded action figures. It was like a thing, you know? And I remember buying like a bunch of them, and I didn't know enough at the time about like variations and like when things were released. So I bought like maybe 10 at like $1,000, thinking that like I would flip them. Dude, I fucking took a bath. I think I made like $100 because I didn't take into a condition. Like now I work in a job that deals with this shit. So I know now, and it wasn't a major catastrophe, but it was enough where I was like, you can't just listen. I think that's what affected me not listening to Chris.
Okay.
And Chris was always talking about money schemes and shit. And like, so it was kind of like Chicken Little. Like I was like, the sky's not falling. Fuck you. Right. And then when we get to that batch, and then we had a text chain, and then someone was updating it. Bitcoin's at 2,000, Bitcoin's at 3,000, Bitcoin's at 4, Bitcoin's at 20,000, Bitcoin's at 40,000. So I was like, fuck. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And that was the not listening to Chris when I should have listened to him. And now I'll ask him. I'll be like, you tell me fucking everything. Because if it's like $1 and it's like dirt cheap like the other one, I'm just going to put the fucking money in. Because a lot of people we know listened to him and did well. And I was like, you fucking idiot, Nick. You fucking idiot.
Dude, I'm right there with you. Nick, I want to ask you this question, which is coming from Finish the Story Pod. You can listen to Finish the Story Pod on YouTube and Spotify. They have a question regarding when you used to do stand-up. What is the first joke that you remember from your first years of stand-up?
I wish you told me this earlier because I could have found it probably like in my notes. I know the first joke that I ever wrote, if I'm correct, was about being married. And
happily or unhappily?
It was, I didn't state in the joke. This is the first joke that I know that it was from one of my first sets, and I know it worked.
Okay.
Because I was talking about jerking off at home. Mm-hmm. And my ex-wife had this really good hand cream in our powder room downstairs. And one day she said to me, she goes, "Hey, are you using the hand cream to jerk off?" And I go, "Well, yeah." It's like, you wouldn't fucking polish a Cadillac with sandpaper.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, that's for our guests." And I go, "Well, I didn't know our guests jerk off in the bathroom too." Yeah. And that was one of the first jokes I told that was in a set. Like like when you first start out, you like write jokes and like most of them suck, you know? But that was the first joke that I felt that was like, okay, I might be able to do this. And that was in one of the first times I performed on a showcase at I went to that dumb comedy school that Helium used to run. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Really poor thinking on my part. But I was trying to get over stage fright, so fucking forgive me. And I didn't I don't know, whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. And that joke did well, but the rest of them didn't. I can tell you my favorite joke I ever fucking told. This is my favorite fucking joke. I have three favorite jokes. One of them is I talk about, I was like, I know I look like a guy who just follows women around a TJ Maxx. I don't know why. It's funny on stage. I forget what the lead in was to it. And another one was, I was like, all my friends are getting into jiu-jitsu and like MMA. And they're like, "Nick, you got to do it." And I was like, "I don't have a problem with it." I was like, "But the thing is, if I'm rolling around on the ground with a guy, I'm either trying to fuck him or get my wallet back." So I like that. And then I don't know what the third one was, but I don't miss stand up at all, man. I fucking don't. I'm not like I miss the friendships made, and I've maintained a lot of them, but I don't miss I didn't like joke writing. I don't like joke writing like how I like writing.
I do like that. See, I like both, but I really love writing jokes.
So yeah, so I think you have to have a real love to do it, and I didn't. And I remember when I transitioned, like when I was kind of brackish and doing both of storytelling, and the jokes I was writing for storytelling were doing great, dude. And I was like, what the fuck is what the fuck is the thing is, and I figured it out, is that I was never trying to be myself on stage when I was doing stand-up, but I was always myself on stage when I was doing storytelling. And when you're authentic, it comes out. And I was not an authentic comedian, because I think that, actually, I really think going to that school was a disservice. And I think that I wish I hadn't done that.
It's a money grab. Any stand-up comedy school is a money grab.
It's a total money grab. And I was kind of naive and didn't understand.
Yeah, there's no way you could.
And I think that it sent me on a different trajectory that was only course corrected when I went, I don't want to do this kind of humor. Like, I do really well doing this. You know, this is what I'm good at. And this is what I enjoy. It wasn't even about being good at it. It was enjoying it. And when I would sit down to like do a story, and I enjoyed what I was doing, and that was it. I was like, this is what I fucking like doing. So I didn't like, and it's funny because when we were at Skankfest out in Vegas, right, where I harassed Jamie, hammered, I was fucking hammered, yelling about you. Mike's just be a writer. He's a great writer. He's a fantastic writer. I'm fucking drunk. Me and Ryan got so fucked up that, oh God.
You're supposed to.
Oh, dude. But it was like totally I was playing electronic roulette and like sucking down Bud Lights and Parliament Lights. I was in my element. I'm not going to lie. It was only when I got up that things got hectic. Then the man was like, you need to eat. And I was like, you're right. And there was like that deli. Do you remember that deli, guys?
Yeah.
Right there? And I got my favorite thing in the world is pastrami. So, and
baby.
I fucking wolfed down a pastrami sandwich.
Love that shit.
But I realized I was never a comedian. And I didn't like the whole hanging out. I didn't like the networking. You know, you spoke of that earlier. I despise that. I didn't want to be friends with people that I didn't want to be friends with. Polite is one thing. You know, and courteous, you know, being courteous, but being around people that I wouldn't want to be around in any other circumstances drained the fucking, especially when I got divorced. That was it. I was like, I cannot be around people I don't want to be. I lived with someone I didn't want to be around with. I don't want to deal with this. Like, this is just not, you know, what I wanted to do, where I want. Like, I remember when I was starting, you know, like when you're like doing comedy and you start getting on the open mic at Helium, like consistently. I remember I was on consistently, but they asked you to be there at like 6:30, and I am a rule follower, so there I fucking was at 6:30, right? And you know, like 30, 40 people are milling about in the lobby and the bar, and they're waiting to get on, and this, that, and the other, and like this was the last time I did Helium, and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And I love Helium. I love Brad most. I love Helium. I didn't want to be around those people in Helium. So like, when Ryan goes and he's like, hey, I'll go. I don't go early, and I don't hang out. I literally come in and I come out because it's the best club I've ever fucking been to see a show. And it's great to perform there because it just feels, I don't know, it's great. But that networking and like hanging out and like toxicity, like I remember I got on stage, I did really well, and I had another show after, and I was walking down, I guess it's probably fucking Chestnut, and I was walking down Chestnut, and I was just relieved to not be around those people, not be in the green room with them, not be in the bar, and like, if I could have separated the people I wanted to be around, it would have been one thing. But I was never able to do that. And I'm not disparaging these people. I don't want to look like I'm talking shit. These are nice people. It's just I didn't want to talk comedy. Like to me it got boring after 10 minutes. Like so and so's doing this and so and so's doing that and so and so's funny and so isn't. I'm like I don't care. Like I didn't care enough. I never cared enough to enmesh myself in that world. And when we went to Vegas, I was reminded of that because I was just like, I don't want to talk. Like, I want to talk to you, and I want to talk to the people I knew and was friends with, but I didn't want to meet anybody else. Like, we were in this, like, I think you were there. That was like there was like Doug Stanhope and Burt Kreischer, all these like famous. I didn't say shit to them. I had like no. These are people I like too. This is not any type of.
They're guys.
They're guys, but they're human.
Yeah.
And like I felt I wanted to talk to Jamie. I was like, you know, when you get that drunk friend that's just dialed in on that was fucking me to your wife. It was, I woke up the next morning, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, Nicholas, what the fuck did you do?
Well, dude, related to what you just said, we were walking towards the venue on Fremont Street, and I've been aware of Doug Stanhope. I love him. He's terrific, and I've known him since before I started doing comedy, and just thinking like the world of him. And Jamie and I are walking towards the venue. And he's just hanging out. He's handing out flowers to people. Like, he's genuinely a sweet person. And Jamie doesn't know who he is. And he walks up to us, and he goes to hand Jamie a flower. And she's like, I don't want that. And just walks past him. And I was just like, and then a part of me was just like, oh, my God. Like, do you know who that is?
Do you have any idea who that is?
But she doesn't give a fuck. And that's part of the wonderful thing about it. Yeah.
Dave Attell. We ran into Dave Attell 17 fucking times. Because we stayed in the Circa. We stayed in the other hotel. And because Amanda doesn't like cigarette smoke, and she was afraid that the other one would smell like cigarettes, the room would smell. It's like a big. I agree with it. She'll deal with it, but she didn't want to. She doesn't like sleeping near it. I get that. We all got our thing, right? And so we consistently saw Attell everywhere. I didn't say a fucking word to him. It's Dave Attell. I loved fucking Insomniac. And I love Dave Attell, but I wasn't going to bother him. I was like, it's fucking, we were in Walgreens together. And then he was at Starbucks. We were in line together. And then we were 2 slots away from each other. And I was like, and he was just smoking and fucking drinking iced coffee. And I'm like, I'm smoking and fucking drinking coffee. And I'm like, people are people. And, but it was just really, I don't know. I always knew, I don't know. It was just, it's not, I'm not that person. I think you have to be a certain person to be a comedian. And I don't have that in me. And I'm glad that I recognize that. And instead, I had the time of my fucking life. Because there was all these people trying to hang around and get on stage and shit. It was like, I was just like, thank God, like, that's not me. You know, like, there, but for the grace of God go I. And it was, and again, that's what you have to do. I'm not capable of doing that. Like, I have a little bit of like, I don't know. It just wasn't my vibe. And I was so fucking thankful to get on the plane and come home, because Vegas for like 4 days is just too much.
Yeah.
It's just,
I think 3 days is the max.
3 days. That's like, we got there early at like 8 a.m. that Thursday. And I was like, this is going to be, you know, and that was also where I realized I was too old. Like, that's like kind of like physically, because we went to dinner that first night. And then Ryan, Amanda, and Zoe, Ryan's wife, they wanted to continue and gamble. I looked at Amanda. I was like, I have to go to bed. It was 8 o'clock. I was like, I can't do this. Like, I am dead. Like, I drank a ton of electrolytes. I was like dehydrated. And I fucking turned on like CSI. And I was just like lying there like this. Like, and I was happy as a clam. But that was like where I hit my wall as a human. I was like, oh, fuck this, man. Like, you know, there's all these people having fun. I was like, nope. Like, you know, I wanted to get up early in the morning, get my coffee. And I got to tell you, Amanda's pretty awesome, because she doesn't give a fuck when we're on vacation. I can do it right, like, with smoking, because both my parents died from smoking. I don't want to say that my girlfriend's draconian. She has and I quit full time. But when we go certain places, although I didn't smoke in New Orleans, who cares? The point is that I wanted to wake up, get us coffee, smoke a cigarette outside on Fremont Street, and see all the creatures, because it's a level of homelessness that we're not used to here in Philly.
The despair that you experience on Fremont Street might be unparalleled.
I couldn't fucking believe it. Like, it was, and I was just, I don't want to say fascinated, because that's incorrect and wrong as a human, but I couldn't wrap my brain around it, because it's so different from Philly. Like, I'm used to the Philly homeless now, and like, you know, because of our proximity to both I-95 and the L are both a block away from me, you know, and Kensington's right up the road, you know, about a mile and a half. So I'm used to having confrontations. Actually, this is a funny one. You want to hear the funniest? Because you know me as like a non-violent person. A couple homeless guys set up camp underneath the I-95 underpass, and I walked by one day. I said, hey, guys. I said, I know you're going through some shit. Because I've done some outreach shit back in the day and whatever. I'm not going to fucking white knight. But I know you guys are going through some shit. But, like, all I ask is, like, you just pick up your needles and, like, you don't harass anybody in the neighborhood, especially my girlfriend. Can you do that for me? Yeah, man. You know, thanks. Being cool. I said, great, man. I get it. You guys are, it's tough. I hope you guys get out of this. So, like, a week fucking goes by, and Amanda comes home, and she goes, those fucking guys underneath the bridge said this, this, and this to me. And Amanda's not Amanda hates violence, right? So I go, I'm not playing this fucking game. Like, I'm still from Upper Darby. Gave you your fucking warning. So I go down, and there's nothing, I'm in shape, right? And there's nothing more terrifying than a fucking guy in a matching Nike sweatsuit with brand new white sneakers coming down to fucking scream at you. And I went down there and I fucking gave them hell. I was like, you understand. Why is everybody texting me? I was like, you understand that I asked you guys to do one fucking thing, and that was to never fucking harass anybody that lives in my neighborhood. I said, then you made the cardinal sin of doing it to my fucking girlfriend. I was like, so here's what's going to fucking happen. You're going to fucking clean this shit show up, or I'm going to physically fucking knock it down. And this is, Mike, this is the funniest. You have to understand. Guys, I'm 5'5", 160 pounds. They all pop out of this fucking, like fucking ferrets, right? So the one guy goes, what the fuck are you going to do? There's 3 of us and there's 1 of you. I go, yeah, well, I've had 3 square meals today and 3 square meals yesterday and the day before. I think just based on nutrition, I'm going to fucking win this fight. So I was like, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to make a phone call. I said, before I fucking kill you, because Amanda's the Rubicon. You don't fuck with my girlfriend. Like, that's it. Violence, everything is on the table. The second you even fuck, like, no, you don't fucking do, like, you don't do that. Like, and not only that, you know, I tried to help them. I talked to them and treated them like human beings and just asked them, and the needles were piling up. It was an issue, right? So I was like, fuck it. I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to fucking call the cops and I'm going to fucking scream so fucking loud that you guys are going to be gone by the end of the fucking night. So that's what I'm going to fucking do. And I did. And I kept calling the fuck. I was like a Karen. I was like, if you don't fucking do something about these guys every hour, I was like, I'm going to fucking take a bat to their fucking heads. I was like, they fucking disrespected my girlfriend. Like, I went off the fucking deep end. You know, like, I was mad. You know, I had given them food. I'd given them money. I'd given them water. I had asked them, hey, man, here's a bag. Clean the needles up. I don't want my dog stepping on it. I don't want a kid stepping on it. I understand you're going through some shit. Like, I'm trying to be a fucking decent human being. So that got wrapped up. But then there was like this weird, like, fucking grassy area, right? And there was these 2 fucking guys that started living. This was like a year later. And they started living there. And I parked underneath the underpass like a fucking jackass. And I got my catalytic converter stolen.
Oh, Jesus.
So I turned to them, hey, assholes. I was like, the fucking least you can do is keep our catalytic converters from getting stolen. And they just were so fucked up, they just, like, looked at me. I was like, thanks a lot, guys. You could at least have active security. So fucking mad.
Nick, what's one thing that you're grateful for right now?
My health. My health. Mom died at 47. My dad died at 68. My mom died at 46, pardon me. I am very glad that, like I said previously in this diatribe I've been giving you all night, I'm sorry, is had I not made changes in my life, I'd be dead. 100%. Probably from a heart attack first. So it's my health. What about you? What are you grateful? Well, you got some pretty good shit, man.
I think more than anything else that I'm able to provide the life that my family deserves right now.
And, like, having known you during that struggle and to get to see you do this is really cool. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty fucking cool.
You saw me at one of my lowest points. I was in the midst, you see me in multiple benders, but there was a time where I think it was your show that I did. And
holy shit.
Yeah.
And you and Jamie got in a fight. And I remember it was me, you, Chris, and TR.
Yeah. And it was, you were live streaming, and I had not been drinking for a while. I think we had a fight, and then I went on your podcast, and I bought a 12-pack of Budweiser bottles, and I'm sitting there drinking them, and she knew where I was going, so she tuned into the podcast, and as I'm sitting there podcasting, I get a text saying, I hope you enjoy your fucking Budweisers.
Dude, you went off. And I was so I remember when you were like, when that happened, and then Chris and I talking about it after, and the conversation was the first mature conversation, I think. I don't want to say first, that's an exaggeration, but it was like, what are we going to do to help him? Can we do anything? Is it in our possibility? Are we overstepping if we do? Because you were volatile. And I remember Chris and I had like a 2-hour discussion about what we would do to help you. And then Chris was like, I don't know if we should. And I was like, I don't like, because that was 2013. Mm-hmm. And I remember being like, where's the line? Like, where do we, because like we were friends, but we weren't close then. So like, is it our job to do that? It's like, is it not our job in the sense it's always someone's job to help somebody? It wasn't that, but are we overstepping the boundary of friendship? And I remember we had it was like a 2 or 3 hour long conversation about that, because that was the only episode that we had ever taken down. And there was no judgment. And, you know, because Chris and I weren't saints either. You know, like, it's not like he and I were, you know, going to church every weekend. We were getting fucked up too. Mm-hmm. So we had to take that into account. It was like, you know, we kind of get fucked up a lot. And like, we're fucking around, and like, you know, we're not necessarily on the straight and narrow. And that was the first conversation I ever had with somebody about, when do you intervene in someone's life? That was literally the first conversation.
I will say this, like, one thing I really respect about Chris is that he was the first person to tell me no in regards to getting drugs, because there was an acquaintance of ours. He either stopped by that night or was talking about stopping by, and I knew he was somebody that could get painkillers.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that if he does come by, I was going to buy painkillers off of him. And Chris was the first person that ever said, no, you're not going to do that. You can stay here tonight, but you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And that surprised me, because I had never been around any friends in any kind of social situation that had objected to any kind of substance abuse.
Do you want to know why? Because this is still the thing that, I remember Chris, I don't know how he had access to your blog, but he had the metrics for it. I don't remember how. I couldn't fucking tell you. But we were in the basement, and he goes, come here, I want to show you something. And I was like, all right. Like, we were probably smoking weed. And I go over, he goes, this is how many people Michael's getting to read his blog. I go, holy fuck, man. And it was a lot. It was a lot. And he goes, and then the conversation came to, he's wasting his talent because you were fucked up. Mm. And that was the motivation. Wasn't so much to like, hey, dude, you should get your life together, because like, you know, that's the thing to do. Mm-hmm. It was more Chris's angle, and mine was always like, no, you're going to fucking lose what you have, what you could make money off of, and get yourself. I still contend that you should have stuck with that, because you would have gotten out of shit faster. I told
you're
Jamie,
right. You're right.
I'm not telling you Jamie right. Live this already.
That was the first creative thing that I ever applied myself to that was successful.
Like, it not only was it successful, but it was fun. And like, it was fun to read. And I didn't have, and I don't have kids. But you made being a parent like interesting and funny, instead of people just being, oh, my kids. Like, and I remember Chris and I we would have so many fucking discussions about this. So many discussions. It's so funny, because I don't think anybody was invested in your career as much as Chris and I were at that stage, right? And we were fucking mad. We were like, this fucking idiot can do this. Why the fuck is he doing that? Mm-hmm. And that was and the ration of shit I gave Jamie's definitely born of 12 years ago when this happened. And we were bigger believers in you as a writer. Because we were like, hey, fuck this, man. Like, comedy, fuck it. And that was like a very Chris Gamuffa and we were like, that was like the thing. Like, we were like, nah, fuck this. You should be doing that. You can make money doing that. So I remember that. I remember that vividly. And that was so fucking long ago, dude. That whole basement now
12 years ago
is a fucking playroom. So like, I'm like, oh, drugs we did in that fucking thing, like, oh shit. But it doesn't matter, because you got there anyway. So to me, you know, your journey's never going to be linear. You know, like it's never. You were told me I would be doing what I'm doing or have done what I got to do a decade ago. I'd be like, no way.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh yeah, well, I had to do all that to get here. So that's another thing. People think their journey's going to be linear. You know,
Not at all. Yeah.
you know, I'm going to do this and then this is going to happen. No, you're going to do this and it's going to go here. It's going to go here. It's going to go down here. It's going to go up here, here, here. And then maybe you'll get to where you want to go. So it's just wild to see how it all played out. And I couldn't be more thankful that everybody that I liked, you know, personally, you know, like intimately did well. That was nice. And especially because like it gets a lot easier. Like, let's be fucking frank. When you have your own success, it gets easier to be happier for other people.
100%.
And I think that like you know, I was very happy with what happened for me. And that made me exponentially happier for everybody else, especially for people that were doing shit that I did that I stopped doing. So like when I see people doing cool comedy shit, I'm like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, fucking that's pretty cool. Because I know how hard it is to get to that, you know? And it's just nice. It's fucking really nice, dude. You would have told me, first of all, I thought you'd be dead. So I'm surprised that we're here 10 years later and you're moving, shit's going everywhere. You got you're going to be gone in a week. And then, you know, hopefully you never have to fucking come back. Like, will you have to come back?
Yeah, every other month I'm coming back for little stinkers.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about little stinkers, yeah. Were you going to do like a bunch of episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a smart move.
Yeah, and then John and Jake are going to come to Austin every other month.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Especially for Jake. Jake and Foster are my two favorite comedians from Philly. And that's no disrespect to everybody else. That's like, that's because I got to see them so frequently. And for Jake, I would like to see Jake take advantage and get some opportunities down there. That'd be nice. I would like to see him do well. We're friends, so there's that caveat or disclaimer or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I love Jake with all my heart. So I would like to see him get down to Austin. I mean, Austin's the center of the fucking universe, dude. Like I told you, and it was a great decision to move there. You know, if you said you were moving to LA, I'd be like, for what?
Oh, yeah.
Tacos are good, but fucking people suck. New York is
a hellhole.
Oh no, I had a good cheeseburger up there 2 years ago up there. So I've literally, I was drunk.
That's the extent of it, yeah.
Oh fuck, man. Yeah, you want to talk about that love shit? I got a great story that I can tell. This is a good one.
Can you stick around for an After Dark episode?
Yeah. How long though?
Whatever you want to do.
All right, yeah, a couple minutes because I do have to get home.
Got you. Nick, I can't thank you enough, dude. Dude, I'm proud of you and I'm happy for you, and it feels good to see you happy, man.
This is fucking wild, dude. Like this is the best podcast. We don't have enough time, but this was great. This is you have a fantastic show. Everything you do is fantastic.
Thank you, buddy.
It's nice, man, to see. It's really, really, especially Tim too, who's not here, but you know, you guys we're so on the cusp of good things happening, and like to see it finally break through.
Dude, I mean, naturally, I want more success than anything else, but hearing Tim describe how happy he is and describe how happy his family is after a fucking week there, means a lot to me.
That's all you need. I mean, you know, it's going to be transformative for everybody, and you know, just it's pregnant with promise too, because like you're going down there, you know everybody, pretty, you know a lot of people down there, so you're not going into a foreign land where you don't know anybody. And, you know, all the people that you do know from the comedy world, you know, it opens up so many opportunities. You know, it's a smart career decision, you know, and emotional decision. You know, the kids get the fuck out of here. You know, little Mikey doesn't have to grow up fucking getting in fights with girls at Casey's down the street. Like, you know, fucking, you know what I mean? Like dating the same fucking women that we all, you know, I dated probably every girl I dated, you know, in high school and early 20s had dated someone I know. So it's to get out of that environment and just to be exposed to a different world and to have opportunity. Because for like, dude, look, both you and I, and probably Tim too, you know, there wasn't a whole lot. We didn't come from money. We didn't come from privilege. There wasn't a whole lot of opportunity. So the self-made aspect means a lot to me. And to get, like, all I wanted to do was move to Philly, man. Fucking love Philly. I really do. It has its drawbacks, but that was my goal, and I got there. So like, I want to see you guys, like, you know, because Tim's got what, 3 kids, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like a better life for the kids, a better life for your kids, you know, like better life for the J dog, you know. Sorry, James. I don't know why I called you the J dog. I'm gonna fucking kill myself on the way home. So
What a way to end it.
what a way to end it.
Nick, you were cruising for 2 hours, man.
I hit the wall.
Hey, headgetters, that's the end of part 1 with Nick Kupsey. Be sure to head to patreon.com/gettingsomehead for part 2 of this episode, and stick around there as well for Nick's little nasty ass After Dark episode. See you there.